Hey, Jody.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Great. Can't complain.
Good, good, good. I'm just pulling up the examples we're going to use here and some of the links we're going to go over, so bear with me. Get out of Facebook here.
I think Scott's working on the stuff that you've already taught him this week, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. If he's working, he's busy. That's great.
Yeah.
Means he's doing something right.
Yeah. I've been talking to your buddy Sean, is it?
Yeah, Sean Mathis.
Yeah, so just trying to build the bridge here, right? So
Yeah, he's a good guy. He does a lot of cold lead generation, doing text message and email marketing and stuff like that. And as more people get on here, Jody, be sure to kill your video so we don't end up with
okay, sure. Yeah, no
yeah,
problem.
just as they get on. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, so he's been in it longer than I have, actually. I mean, I remember when I first started in the leads industry, I saw him already on Facebook running ads and running a mastermind, and that's back
Okay.
when he was working with like Allstate and and was spending the majority of his time helping those Allstate agents build out their lead gen on Facebook back when you could get leads for 50 cents. He was
Sir.
doing it
Wow.
long time ago, and I remember him showing leads come through at 10, 15 cents,
Oh my.
and I remember being like, oh, there's no way he's getting leads at 10, 15 cents. And sure enough, I go and do my own research on Facebook ads. And when I
Yeah.
first started, I was getting them for 90 cents. That was last fall. And they've gone from 90 cents a piece in the final expense game, life insurance game, to now it's like $15 for you to get anything quality. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, it is. We found that just even 6 months ago before COVID, it was like $4, $5. And yeah, now we're average cost for my clients just reviewed like all their portfolios today. It was $15 on average across Canada.
Right. Yeah.
Just ridiculous. And not even that massive high quality, like not even like not like the quality we're sending them through with this page at all.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get there.
We will. I'm going to log into the back end here. I'm going to stop the share real quick and then
Okay.
fix this. For some reason, it's showing the admin bar. It shouldn't be. And I'm probably going to give it 5-10 minutes for people to jump on anyway here.
Yeah, I think our page is up and ready by the end of day today once Scott just got the phone thing working.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
It's not bad. 2-day turnaround.
I ain't complaining.
That's not horrible. I want to get it to the point to where it's hosted on my active campaign and it's turnkey to the point to where they just give me their CRM and login info for the CRM, where I do a call on Zapier, so I can just literally just point it and be done. And that would literally be set it up turnkey, same day you can start generating leads.
Cool, yeah.
So we'll see if I can get there.
Yeah.
I found out part of that. I figured it out yesterday, so
Cool.
that's good. It's Daniel.
Yep. Good. How long will this call be today?
About an hour. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. I mean, it's all being recorded and it's going to be saved on Rise page in the group you're in, as well as put into the group on Facebook. So,
okay, cool. Yeah.
Hey, Daniel, how you doing? If you can hear me, we're giving some more time for these people to get in here. We'll give it to about 12:05, 12:07, and then we'll just start the thing, and whoever gets in, gets in.
Okay.
Hopefully people get used to it happening the same time each day, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and can start getting a handful of people on here each day. That's the goal.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Or she's going COVID crazy here in Canada the last few days.
Oh, all the Starbucks around me shut down, so I can't go do anything in Starbucks anymore. I walked in there and I go, "Is it really shut down?" And she's like, "Yeah, they just implemented it yesterday." And I just looked at her and I feel like I gave the saddest face I could through that mask I was wearing. Like,
Yeah.
it's the only place I can go to really just like dive deep into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Outside my house when my kids are gone.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll give them another minute or two here and we'll just get started, because a lot of this, Jody, when you bought your white label of Quote Informer, I went through this with Scott. So you have that recording as well to go back through. We did some Google Trends. We'll do a little bit of Google Trends today, but this is really just the high level overview of what we're going to go through for the next 2 months and help these people who are attending develop the strategy they're going to use. Now, that's why I obviously offer the basic seat at 297. So for anybody who's watching this on the replay or coming in here as I'm talking, or Daniel, the white labels that I'm going to show you today, both Quote Informer and ChimpSend, are designed to be complete opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to lead gen. One is a complete 40-question long form logic based form where they have to complete tons of information and spend 6 minutes on the form completing that info. And then the other option is basically the exact opposite, which is a click to text, which means you own the person's information from the point of contact forward. So we'll discuss both of those today and really talk about why we would choose to go with one that's long form versus why we would choose to go with one that's short form or even just click to text. And I'm not seeing anybody else jump in here, so I think we'll just give me 1 second. We'll get started here in just a second. Shoot, you don't know anybody in Minnesota, do you?
What is it?
An insurance lead in Minnesota.
Oh, geez, I don't read off the top of my head.
I've got agents in Wisconsin, not Minnesota. It just hit my Google click to call. Came through as I'm doing this.
Wow, that's cool,
Yeah, that went to my Grasshopper. So I've had 1 today, 2 yesterday, 1 on Tuesday, 2 on Monday. I had 1 on Sunday, but I think that, what's it, the 11th, was that the Friday before? I think that was when we were running our other ads. Yeah, that was the Wednesday before. So we've been running ads consistently for the last week at about $20 per day, and we're getting about 1 click to call per day, which is, shoot, man, 1 or 2 a day for $20 per day. I'll take that.
Yeah,
Take that all day long. Now, whether or not those click to calls are people who are looking for an insurance quote, that's to be determined. Sometimes they come through and they're just looking to make a policy change because you ranked for a keyword against Progressive or Geico or whatever.
There you go. Wow.
And so that's part of what's happening, but we'll discuss that and how to mitigate those. You could do exclusions of keywords and like keywords.
I'll be right back. I've got someone at the door.
What's that?
I'll be right back. Someone's at the door.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Well, what time is it? All right, Daniel, we're going to give it to 12:10 here. You have 3 more minutes for these people to jump on. All right. Well, I think we've got everybody who's going to be on it so far, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. All right. So Google search advertising. Search is only one of 3 different advertising types that we have with Google, different strategies, I guess you could say. The 3 that exist are search, display, and video through YouTube. What we're going to do for the next 2 months is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be meeting and we're going to be diving deep into the basics of keyword research, the basics of SEO, then in the second month get into the in-depth keyword research and in-depth SEO that is required to bring down your cost per lead while advertising with Google. When you start advertising with Google, it's very important for you to do your research. Okay. Whoa, I didn't need to go that far. Zoom out. Give me a second, guys. I'll just do it this way. There's Jennifer. Why is it doing this to me, man? Of course it did on the first call, right? Here we go. It's very important for you to do your research, right? When we're researching competitors or we're researching a vertical, we have to choose which vertical to start in, because if you say, oh, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do marketing or advertising, or I'm going to go out there and do lead generation, you know, to go out there and teach lead generation or to build something around a very broad keyword is very difficult to do quickly. What we're trying to do with Google is we're trying to jump in, get in front of people's eyes for the particular keyword search terms that they are typing in. Okay. So when we can research our competitors, which a tool here that you can write down if you're taking notes is Moz.com. I'll show you another thing. If you're on your computer and you want to take notes, you can go to risepage.com and log in, and on your dashboard, you can take notes there too. Okay. But while you're doing your research, for instance, like Moz, Moz is a keyword research tool that lets you go and see how much traffic is being generated for the keyword and like keywords around the one that you're searching. Okay. And we'll get into that in later calls, probably at the end of next week when we start to dive into actually doing keyword research for a scratch campaign. When you're looking at your competitors online and you're trying to develop a strategy, you've got to be able to identify an opportunity that exists that you can capitalize on. Because if we can't make that consumer feel like they're getting something of incredible value when they land on your page, then you're not going to be able to hold their attention. And that's my first step to lead gen, is establish authority. If you don't establish authority properly in your funnel or in your brand, in your advertising itself, and it's not congruent and it's not hammering home one particular point because you know what your consumer's searching for, you're not going to have success on Google. If you're taking people from Google and you're typing in keyword search terms for insurance and trying to sell them something for real estate, you'll never get a response. And we all know that. That's common sense, right? But you'd be surprised if you go and you do keywords for insurance or for real estate and you find out that the ones you thought would be most popular are in fact the worst keyword for you to research or to use for your targeting. Okay. So what we'll do is we will sample feedback before we go out with an idea and make sure that it sounds like it's a good idea, right? So before I go and do anything with other people, I always go and get sample feedback. Hey, call up my buddy. Hey, I got an idea for this funnel. Check it out, right? I'll get that feedback from them just to make sure that, yeah, that makes sense. It sounds good. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not alone. All right, great. Then you can go and start testing, right? Once you start testing, that's where we come into the conundrum of what we're going to end up focusing on throughout this entire intensive, A/B testing. What you're doing is building your own algorithm for advertising on Google by taking what you get from Google and the response you're getting from the numbers and identifying what is working and what's not. Okay. Now, when we go and we research keywords to put into these Google ads to make as the headline of our Google ads on search, we have to first make sure that we're relevant. That relevancy has to go not only through your keyword, but into the URL you're using and then into the SEO on your website. So meaning the persistency, which is the next word here, of your keyword search term has to go all the way through the sitemap and loop back to the beginning. We'll talk about sitemaps here in about 2 weeks, okay? But a sitemap is basically the tree, the fork, that visualization of where each page goes to and what it connects to and why. What Google's algorithm does is it goes into a website, and if you can get that algorithm to get into your website and to start going into circles inside your website and spend time there learning, you increase your chances of getting people to click on your ad because you bring your website, your URL, your keywords inside of your pages. Your SEO automatically, organically brings you closer to the top. So when you add the search ads behind it and put some money behind it, you dramatically increase the persistency or the potential for that person who's researching your keyword search term to complete the funnel. Because you have that authority. You're showing up first in Google. That's where you're going to get the response. You can get some clicks, you showing up second and third in Google. But when you get that top spot, boom, that's ultimate authority, ultimate trust on Google. Okay. Now, when you're doing those keyword searches and you're trying to come up with those keyword search terms that these people are using, don't think about it the way that you would normally go and try and think that you have to sell them on your product. You don't. They're already sold on the product. They just have to find the easiest route to get it or the one that makes them feel most comfortable, right? So your job is to find what keyword search terms are being used most often and then use those to build your strategy. Before you build a website, before you get a URL, you have to go and do the keyword research and find out what words people are actually searching. Okay, and I have an example of this. We went to trends.google.com with a client of mine. She's on the call, Jennifer. And today we jumped onto our call and started building out her first iteration of Google Ads to capture it, her first funnel. When we were talking on the phone, we found out that Medicare was obviously the most common keyword search term for Medicare. So we have to logically say, if we're going to have a website about Medicare, we have to have Medicare in the URL. So we went to GoDaddy and went through probably 10 or 15 URLs before we came across mymedicarecourse.com. We bought that URL. Now we're building out the funnel. And that process happened because we first went to Google Trends and we got aligned with our SEO to begin with. Okay. So let's go back through. If we go to demographics, later on, about week 3, we'll start to talk about demographics and how we can get in front of the proper target audience, because what we will see is who responds to our ad and who clicks on our ads. We'll be able to see their age, that in-depth information, the time of day. All that information becomes available when they start clicking on our advertisements. Okay. And what we can find, there's Sean right there. What we can find is age, culture, locality. So if we're doing ads in, say, Anaheim, California. So Jennifer, for instance, Jen says in her video that she's in Anaheim. So we would run an ad for Medicare in Anaheim, right? That's a localized ad based on locality. Now we can do cultural, you would approach, and I have clients who are Hispanic, so they do everything in Spanish. So they approach their culture a little bit different than I would with English. It's more formal, I guess you could say, more respectful, and you don't want to sound goofy. So you have to make sure that your words make sense, and I've learned a lot just from that. There's Jackie. Everybody jumping in right now. Appreciate you guys jumping in. This is being recorded. It'll be saved on the Facebook group and on Rise page. So if you guys want access to it, let me know if you can't get it through the group. But we've done ads based on brands. I've got a client who's doing funeral services. He does pre-planning. So we ran ads against Heartland, which is the pre-planning company that he works with. And within 2 days, he had a gal search Heartland on Google and call his cell phone directly from his ad, and he scheduled an appointment. And that was done live on a call, on one of our training calls. So that was pretty interesting. But that came from a Google ad. Come on. Oh, don't take me back out here. What's going on? No, I need to go to research. All right. You know what? Let me do it manually here then. Sorry. There we go. Strategize, okay? What we did, me and Jennifer, with my Medicare course, is we sat down and we came up with, what do you want to accomplish, you know? And she said she wants to put herself out there. She just didn't know how. And she's always wanted to do YouTube videos. She's just not comfortable doing it. And, you know, I agreed with her. It's not comfortable when we start out doing things like that, because we're putting ourselves out there and people are going to judge us whether we like it or not. But that first action, that actual step of taking that time to sit down and record those videos, starts to open up a whole new world of possibility, especially when you sit down and can have a website or web app up and ready to put ads to within a couple of days. Jody, you're on the call. I think he got one of my white labels 2 days ago. He's about ready to run ads. He said by the end of today, he'll be ready. So anything that we do, we first have to have a strategy behind it. Like I talked about before, for the new people, your keyword research has to stay persistent, not only through your URL, but down into the headings of your pages and into the content for SEO. All right. The simpler, the better, the easier, the better. I think that's very obvious and evident for all of us. The simpler your message, the better. Take people through a funnel, but make it step-by-step, clear and coherent. Don't take them in loopholes, you know, that are going to make them, I guess you could say, confused. Make sure that if there are any loops, it's in the sitemap. So for instance, at the end of my Medicare course, just to use it as an example, at the end of the course, it says, congratulations, you completed the course, gives them the option to text her directly or to go home, right? All of those links make the entire sitemap become a loop. And what that does to the Google algorithm is it takes it into the site and it starts to sprawl the site. The more content and pages and blog posts and links out to different websites you can put on your own website, the better. But to start, you've got to give that algorithm something to look at and to continue to look at. And if you don't build that loop in the sitemap, which we'll talk about in week 3, which is early December, if you don't build loops in your sitemaps, you're losing probably 15% of that organic traffic that you could get otherwise. Because when you run an ad on Google, after you get off that ad and you go back to just no money on Google at all, and you're just organic, you know, traffic, you will find you're still getting people coming to your website from Google and completing the forms. And it's because of the SEO. Now, integration and branding. We talked a little bit about branding before, coming up with an idea of how you want this to function, right? Branding is very simple. And nowadays with YouTube, use your face, right? You can put a brand behind your company, but on YouTube, you're the brand, right? That's obvious and evident. If you're going to do any type of branding, make sure it's professionally done. Have somebody build you a logo if you don't know how to do it yourself, or you can easily go on Google and you can Google logos that are royalty free. And royalty free on Google means you can use it. You don't have to pay for it. Okay. So whenever you build out your landing page, you have to choose the scale of interest or intent that you want to get out of the consumer before you start designing it, right? Quoteinformer.com. If you guys haven't seen that real quick, I'll show it to you. Quoteinformer.com is designed to be a 40-question form. It takes 6 minutes or more for them to complete the form, and there's a 8 to 12% completion rate. Okay, so 100 people come to this form and click that enter my zip code button and start the process. Only 10 of them will complete it. Now, why would I want 40 questions on a form like this? Well, if we go through and we see that this is an auto, home, and life insurance form, well, if 1 out of 10 people complete that and it costs me $15 for them to do so, I can take this information and find a buyer and I can make $70 off of it instantly. Okay. That is a different topic for a different time, going into monetization within the leads industry. But even if you just have referral partners who would be willing to buy this stuff from you, you can exponentially scale your advertising on Google and reinvest the profits back into your business. don't know if it's going to let me go back into this one or not. There we go. So call to action, very clear. My 3-step method, you have to obviously first establish authority. You have to incite an emotional response, and that's done through the user interface. Nowadays, if they don't feel excited and feel like they have an appy experience, easy to use, user-friendly, able to trust it real quick, and it's, intuitive. If they don't have that experience, you're going to miss, 10 to 15% of that conversion you would have gotten otherwise. The easier it is to use, the better. But you have to decide what scale of interest you want. Do you want that level 10 like Quote Informer, or do you just want somebody to click a button and text you automatically? Okay. Or do you want them to click a button and call you automatically? That's the call to action, which is our 3rd step in lead gen after establishing authority and inciting an emotional response. You have to give that clear call to action, which is literally telling the person what to do. You have to do it over and over and over. So like I taught, or not taught, but helped Jennifer with her video. At the end of each video, she tells them, click the button to go on to the next part, or click the phone number to send me a text message and I will respond. And she tells them that. And then it also tells them when they look at it, click the phone number. So we're telling them multiple times, click the freaking phone number. Okay. And you have to do that in intuitive ways. And some people find it pop-ups work best. Some people find, an upsell on a funnel would work best. I personally like to put the call to action very clear, plain and simple in front of somebody, because if they don't understand it to begin with, then they're not going to understand why you're calling when you reach out to them. Now that goes into form logic, like I just showed you with Quote Informer, Auto Home Life, and it also gives you a time scale. How much time do you want these people to spend learning about you or interacting with your funnel before you actually jump on the phone with them? Google gives you the ability to be complete master of your destiny and control. You're the captain of your ship when it comes to figuring out what type of lead you want, how you want to deliver to yourself. Oh, don't go out here. Let's go to this one. I don't know what's going on with this. It was working before our call. Sorry, guys. There we go. Catalyst. So a catalyst is we need some form of action to be able to track these people from point A. Because if we can't track them from point A, we can't get them all the way down to point Z, which is obviously the closing of the sale. Okay, whatever that sale is. Now we can take them through a short form, which is, like Quote Informer, like I just showed you, except 10 questions, 7 questions, 5 questions, right? We can take them through that full 40-question long form and put some logic in it and generate a couple different quotes for ourselves if we want. Or we can get all that out of the middle and we can go straight to the conversation. We can do click to call, we can do click to text, or we can have the automation on the back end and have people click to email you and send them an email notification where you follow up with scheduled phone calls, try and get them on a scheduler. You could text links to schedule a phone call too. That's an option, but these are just examples. So when you implement this, this is where, this is where the rest of the building out of your pipeline comes into play. And this is where the technology comes into play, which is what I help you with. It's what I help my clients with. If you need help, let me know. I have white labels that include all the automation, include the turnkey. Quote Informer itself as a white label. Jody started with that 2 days ago. Chimp Send is another one where you have the click to text. It goes straight into your cell phone number, pulls open their text message app, has the whatever phrase you want them to send to you written out already, and then I can automate the delivery of that into your CRM. And I use those as the catalyst, if you want to call it, right? That turnkey option gives you the ability to go and, put your brand on it. And once your brand's on it, start running ads, then play with it and see what happens to your response. I've been doing this for 1.5 years on my Google Ads account. I'll be showing those numbers as we go through this course. CRM, Better Agency, obviously.io. I saw another thing today. Nicholas Ayers is killing it. They're doing a really good job. So I do recommend them. I'm an affiliate. Active Campaign is what I use for my business. Everybody has their own preference. And a lot of people are running CRMs. Everybody has a different way of doing it. Everybody has a different pitch. RisePage.com is not a CRM, but it is a networking platform. So it is a way to get your team involved and to get them to accomplish courses and earn prizes and things like that. That app is coming out in January. You have to figure out if you want cloud dialing and text, which I do Twilio, but there's many of them out there that you can do. I also do Yeti text for text message. That's how I've set up Chimp Send. So I do share all the information on the integration when you buy a white label. If you want to own that automation on the back end outright, then I'll help you set up those accounts and do the automation for you. But I have that turnkey website platform available for you to start running ads to it ASAP. And that's through my content management system, which is the responsive site editor, or you could use something like WordPress or Wix, or there's plenty of them out there for you to choose from. If you don't have a dedicated email service provider yet, like MailChimp or, oh man, ActiveCampaign does email as well. Constant Contact. There's so many of them out there. SendGrid. Get one of those set up, or you can even integrate through, oh, somebody's talking. You can even integrate through Google SMTP, which has a 99% deliverability rate. So when I do any of my follow-up automated text messages to leads, I'll use a G Suite with a URL, and I can do 2,000 to 5,000 emails a day. It's like 99% deliverability rate. It's nuts. Other than that, you need to put the glue together to put all of these pieces together, which is what I use is Zapier. There's a couple of other ones out there you can use that basically have the APIs for all of these software systems on the market already done into a drag and drop point and click system where you don't have to learn any code. Okay. So where do we go at the end of putting all of that funnel together, our strategy, our brand? Now we have to be able to come together and say, what's an effective way to spend my ad spend? Well, I've already done that for you. Over a year and a half, I have found that a weekly budget is what you need to focus on, not a monthly budget, even a daily budget to start. $20 a day is a really good place to start, okay? You want to prioritize weekend spend. I would put 70% of my spend on the weekends, not during the week. You're going to get, most likely going to get, I'll get Doug in here. The chances of you getting somebody to complete your funnel if they're going through search or even click to call on the weekends to complete a call with you, I put it at a level of 100% out of a 1 to 100 scale of what time of day, what time of week would be the best time for me to be running ads. Friday, Saturday nights from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. Once you hit morning spend, you still have a 50% chance of those people completing it because they're sitting on the pot before they go get their breakfast, right? But once you get that 50%, that's good for Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Wednesdays, Thursdays, good luck. I'd turn them off on Wednesdays, Thursdays, or maybe even just back down to 5 a day. So my ad keeps running and Google's algorithm doesn't stop working. See what I'm saying? When you do this, you're going to find that maybe yours is a little bit different than mine. I ran mine nationwide. So if you're in one state, it may be different. You may find that, your local market and, wherever Texas is way more conservative than, New York City downtown. So on Friday nights, you're going to get a really good response, right? Because they're sitting at home in their 50s and 60s and they're playing on, their phone and they're watching the local news. Who knows? But you'll find out as you run these ads based on the numbers you get back. Our last one here, see if I can get over to it, is the key. This is the golden goose. If you want the silver bullet, the secret, here it is. This is the key to Google advertising and getting kick-ass results on Google ads. You have to do A/B testing and you have to do it constantly, daily. I'm going to create a new funnel. I'm going to change the button, put one up here and one at the bottom. I'm going to run ads to one with the button at the bottom and one to the button at the top. Then I'm going to get rid of the buttons completely and just do colored links. Then I'm going to get rid of the links. I'm going to make the video a link. So when they click on that video, it opens up a video with a call to action. I don't know, pop-ups, funnels, that's where your creativity comes into play. But I have already found what works best for me. And I offer those on a white label through Quote Informer and through Chimp Send for the direct to text. Okay. Now, an example I give is red versus green apples to help you conceptualize this. And I'm going to be giving a lot of, metaphors and allegories as we go through this to help you conceptualize what I'm talking about, because without seeing the ads process being done in front of you and looking at the numbers and coming back and making decisions based off of them, it's very difficult for you to understand if you're new. So I'm going to do red apple versus green apple and give you an example. I'm a farmer. I obviously farm apples. I have green apples. I have red apples. I want to know what people like to eat most of. So the first day I go out there, I take red apples and I sell 50 out of the 100. Great day. That's awesome. Well, the next day I'm going to take out the green apples and I sell 25. Well, why the heck would I be growing green apple trees? All right, I'm going to replace my green apple trees with red. Now I'm going to go back out there and I'm going to sell red, but now I'm going to bring Gala and Golden Delicious. I'm going to put them on the table. I'm going to put a sign behind them, and they're going to look at the sign, read what kind of apple they are, and I'm going to see which one they choose. Well, they chose more Golden Delicious. Okay, well, what if I get rid of the sign and just give out samples? Now, what if I put the apples in a bucket and have them blind test? That's what the key is to testing through Google, is getting as many possibilities out there as you can so that the algorithm on Google tells you what works best. Input, output. It's AI. Does this make sense to you guys at all?
Absolutely.
So if I am in a group of people and I have this test done, I could bring in the second group of people and it could be completely different. That's why I need multiple groups, which are ad sets. We'll get into that stuff as we go through the ads. But your most important thing to A/B test is going to be content copy. So the words and the way that you put that on the page, and then also your images and logos, right? Find logos that make people feel comfortable, that get them to convert, right? I've tried multiple different logos for Quote Informer, and I came to one that kind of resembles Google to a little bit, and I put powered by Google on the landing page, and boom, it works. And you know what? Google doesn't freaking care because they know that my SMTP is powered by them. I host my website with them, et cetera, whatever, you know? As long as I don't say it's a Google product, and as long as I give the copyright to Google, I'm good. Okay, so there are things you can do to increase your chances of getting leads on Google. But then again, that's the game you have to choose to play on your own. Last to that is obviously the call to action, whether it's clear, concise, to the point with a button, or if it's a link, or if it's a pop-up, or if it's a, like a countdown. Whatever your call to action is, it has to be clear and concise. You have to tell them over and over and over again what to do. And then other from that, obviously upsells and bumps in your funnel where you take somebody and bump them up through. There are examples of that you can check out on your cell phone. If you go to quoteinformer.com, Quote Informer as an information. After you start scrolling down on that homepage, I have an automated pop-up that pops up, but it's a full screen form. So it sucks you into the form and asks you for your info, right? So pop-ups do a wonderful job for exit intent as well as scrolling percentages. If somebody gets 30% down the page, force a pop-up, right? But that's the stuff we're going to review next week. I will be on the call Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, and we'll actually break into the old iterations of Quote Informer and what it used to look like, and then go through why I've gotten to where it is today. That'll help people conceptualize the testing portion of the funnels. And then other than that, I just want to show you guys again, if you're not a member on the platform, jump into Rise Page. There's a free notes tool in here. Everything's free to join. You guys can create your own groups and integrate them with Zoom to do what I'm doing with you today. This call is being recorded and it's automatically going to be saved inside of my group Agency Automation for all my clients to go in and watch it whenever they want. And this will also be built into a course, and anybody who grabs a seat to this program over the next 2 months, it doesn't matter what seat you get in, if you're basic or the VIP plus like Jennifer, who's on a call with us, right? Whatever seat you get in, you get access to the Agency Automation group with the course that I'm still building out. We're still completing it. I've been fighting some bugs on the platform, but we're working through it. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. We've got, 15, 20 minutes here left. You guys have any questions in particular, I'll answer them, and I can give feedback on funnels if you want. I'll do whatever you want.
Thanks for the information, man. Great stuff.
Hey,
Really
dude, it's going to get better and better. And like I said, I'm trying to decompartmentalize all of this knowledge I've gained in a concise manner. And that's why I've opened up the first 3 phone calls for it to be basically free to attend to a certain degree. I want people to get in and see what the potential is and what the results have been just from my own testing. By Friday of next week will be our first call where we actually start building out a scratch campaign with a different funnel. and we'll start from scratch. We'll go to trends. We'll look at keywords. We'll choose a URL. We'll take that URL. We'll point it to my white label. We'll build it from the white label and publish it into the ads. And we'll take that whole process, because once you see it done a couple times, then it clicks, and then you're like, oh, okay, I can just copy paste this page and change a couple buttons and go, and sorry, I've got a little bit of frog in my throat here this morning, guys. But yeah, I'm trying to give turnkey, oh, there's Jenny. Trying to give turnkey options for you guys, because I know that this process that I'm talking about can be very overwhelming. So that's where the 297 seat comes in. You get the access to the white label, to the course, and to the group, and to all these calls that we do after Friday of next week. That's our first closed call, right? So that's just for the people who've grabbed their seats. But yeah, you get a white label of whatever you want. I got a few to choose from that are proven conversions, and helps you start right off the bat. Do you guys have any questions when it comes to strategy? Do you have a funnel you want me to look at? Do you have questions about automations, anything like that?
I have a question.
Sure.
So, hi.
Is it Jackie?
Yeah.
Hi, Jackie.
Can you tell?
I can.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Still trying over here. Just swamped. So
yeah.
My question is, and this is probably not going to be helpful for anyone else, but you did not mention me as a VIP client, but it's okay. I'll forgive you. But what I wanted to ask you was, no, seriously though, because we're looking into doing multiple things, should we just continue our scheduled program that we're doing? Because I mean, in other words, I'm not looking to like do the ticket for this and the private thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out how.
No, you and I had decided to just push the payment you made off into December, because you were working on your transfer of your CRM. And
right.
So I mean, if you want to start it up anytime, we can start it up. That's fine. You just shoot me a text message and we'll jump on a call.
We're gonna stay scheduled for December 1st. But what I'm asking is, since we're doing a few different things, should we just stay with our private sessions and discontinue what we're doing? Or
no, if you're wanting to just keep rolling, and you can attend these calls because you've already paid, so just keep attending these calls. It's valuable information for you to understand it from a conceptualization standpoint. That's what the next 2 weeks is really going to be about, is conceptualizing how Google works and why. Because if we don't understand that at an intimate level, then we're never going to be able to go do it on our own and get the results we want, which is what I'd be doing with you one-on-one anyway, once we figured out, your pipeline funnel inside your CRM, which is what we were working on. And so whenever you're ready to do that, I just don't want to overstress you. I knew that whole situation was, taking its course anyway. So once that, you feel comfortable, and give me a call and we'll jump back on. But take these calls too and attend these, because I want you can get the white label, obviously. I want you to be able to take this in, so when we do jump back on those calls in December, you're kind of caught up to where we're going to be headed.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Sound good?
Yes, Thank you very much.
All right, anybody else? Anything I can help you with? Or all right, guys. Well, I appreciate whoever showed up. All the people who decided that this was worth their time means a lot to me. And I will be here on Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and we will be going into the actual SEO portion of keyword research and what we want to accomplish inside of the white labels. All right, guys. We'll see you Monday at noon. Yeah.
Oh, quick question. I do have a Twilio number. Can we just use that for the text?
Yeah, good question. And we can. I would just have to set up a little bit of an automation on the back end in Twilio Studio for you.
I see. I just haven't even gone in there. Okay, we'll just talk about it.
Yep, we can definitely do that. No problem.
One quick question for you, Ryan.
Yep, go ahead.
Jody here. What would your advice be on, I'm just trying to, I guess, put a bit of a fast pace on my education on reading analytics, so that when we test things and do what we're doing with you, what would you advise to be the best training or the best read or watch or whatever on, so we understand the analytics and understand the numbers we're looking at?
All right, you're gonna think I'm ridiculous here, but have you ever tried to solve a Rubik's Cube?
Yep.
So go and find a Rubik's Cube and force yourself to sit down for an hour and try and learn the first couple algorithms, the first
Yeah.
couple sets of turns,
Yeah.
because that is what we're doing when we A/B test content. We're
Yeah.
finding what turns we have to make, or what tunnels, funnels, whatever you want to call them, what lines we have to take that consumer down through that sales process to get the most predictable action.
Mm-hmm.
Because without the predictability of the action, then we can't scale out, right?
Yeah.
So we need an average cost per lead that's affordable. We need an average cost per lead that converts for our consumer, or for us and our agency, our clients in your case. So finding that is really important. But to do that, again, we have to go right, then left, then left, then right, then left, then up, then down.
Right.
And the part that really makes the difference for you when you're trying to learn Google is when you're figuring out the Rubik's Cube and you learn the up and down part, right? To think a little bit different than just linear. We got to start thinking, well, if I go outside the box, then what could I build from there? A lot of people don't think to, like, I'll just give the example again. This weekend, I was sitting on my couch and I was on Facebook flipping through, an ad popped up for Community, which is Gary Vee's texting app. And I clicked the sign up button, which took me to their landing page, and the button there that said, click here to text us, we'll get your account started. I clicked the button, it opened up my phone, and it had pre-written text. It said, I'm looking to set up a community bot account or whatever. Can you help me? And then it had an automation after I clicked send. So all I had to do was click a button 3 times. Click, click, click.
Right.
But he owns my phone now.
Right.
And I stopped and I dropped my phone and I go, holy shit, that motherfucker, pardon my French. But he's so smart at what he does. He's so good at what he does.
Yeah.
He has so much established authority that he just needs your phone number. And then he's in front of you 98% of the time. You open 98% of your text messages, 50% contact rate, interaction rate. So I stop for a second and I go, okay, how can I offer this to my clients in their Google ads? I haven't even ran ads for the click to text yet. That's what I'm going to be doing live through this intensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I have ran the ads for the 40 question form, and that's what taught me how to run Google. Because to get somebody to spend 6 minutes on your app to complete a funnel, a quote with 40 questions, you have to have a lot of established trust and validity in a very short period of time. By the time they click and get onto your platform, 2-3 seconds you have to make them feel comfortable to share their info.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the click to text is going to be even more powerful, but we may have to take them through a bit of a funnel like Gary Vee did with me to establish that authority, to get them to trust to click that phone number and have you text them. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, try solving the first couple steps of a Rubik's Cube. My goal to you, or try and get one face of the Rubik's Cube, just one color.
Mm-hmm.
And that will teach you how to think, in circles and squares and up and down. And that's how your mind kind of has to think when you go through this stuff and build out your own websites and A/B test and become a lead generator, a publisher, really.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I know Sean Mathis, if he's still on the call with us, he can attest to that. He's been doing it for a couple of years longer than I have.
Yeah.
But it's just a constant job of getting on every day, checking out your forums, checking out the numbers, seeing what works and what doesn't. Just as an example, RisePage alone, I've taken the average time spent on the platform this time last year was 1 minute and 40 seconds. And right now it's at 3.5, I think, 3:15.
Right.
It was just a month ago at 4.5 minutes because people were taking courses a lot more. But I'm trying to move to more, a situation like this where it's a live type deal, because you get so much more value out of it when you hear other people brainstorming.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, we got 10 minutes, but we're bumping up to the end here. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. The only homework I would have you do is come in here and play with Google Trends, and we'll just end on this real quick, because when you go and make any strategy, if you're going to go do this on your own, you need to have some form of sense of what to do in here. So what happens with Google Trends is if I'm doing, let's just choose a random one, right? So pets. Now we want dogs and cats. Which one am I going to create products for? I can already tell you. I'm going to create products for dogs because I have a 50% chance, well, 60% chance more in potential of getting in front of a consumer for my product. So now I've decided dogs, right? Dogs is the most common. I would go and I would put a keyword inside of a URL with dogs in it, right? Now we would have to do like, okay, what, dog leashes? So dog leash is probably really common. Wow, right? You would think it would be compared to dogs. It's not. So if we can have the word dogs in our URL, not dog. So let's check out dog. Whoa. Now we have different perspective, right? So maybe we build a URL with just dog in it. So anything that they search is going to put us in priority, especially if we can have it the first word in the URL, right? That would be where you'd want it to be. You could have it in the first part of the URL. You could have it be the second word in the URL. You don't want more than 3 words in a URL. It becomes a catchphrase at that point, right? So, you know, up to 3 words, just don't put that keyword search term at the end of that URL. So if I were creating products for dogs, I would find something with dog something on Google or not Google or GoDaddy. So let's go to GoDaddy, right? I'm sure somebody's already got it. Dog Depot is where my mind first goes. Right? Taken. So then we go down the list. Dog tools. Okay, $3,495. No thanks. Dog stuff. Dog things. And then you can do something like this, dog and found. And do a double entendre. There you go. So instead of lost and found, dog and found. So now when anybody goes on Google and they search for anything dogs, dog leashes, dog, you know, dog walking, whatever dogs, dog shampoo, dog and found, dog shampoo. There you go. You found it. See what I'm saying here? When we do the strategy behind it, we just have to use what Google tells us is the most common before we go and make that URL. Because if we go build a funnel off of dog leashes international, well, now we're putting ourselves at a disadvantage because we're way down on a keyword search term that's dog leashes. Did you see the difference that I showed you between the two inside trends? So if we go to dog leashes or dog leash even, see how far down it is compared to just dog? So if you were to go and put leash after dog in your URL and try and build one off of that, you would be good for dog leashes, but anything else dogs, you'd be tough to get in front of people, right?
Yeah.
Do you recommend getting a lot of URLs
I do.
or not really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, over time, I mean, I've got 60 or 70, right, that I play with, but over time you drop $12 and grab a URL. I mean, dog and found, if I had a dog shop, that's the name of my business right there. Done. Game over.
So can I ask a quick question about that?
Mhm.
Because I was looking into the, you know, multiple URL or the multiple domains pointing to a website. So you can buy the domain and then you point the domain to your actual website. Is that correct? Or do you have to develop
Point it to the IP address.
the
So it's
IP
good.
address? Okay. So you don't
Oh,
have to develop
Jennifer,
like,
I'm showing your account here. Sorry.
that's fine.
It's already logged in here, but we came in and we pointed her DNS.
Oh, you said Jennifer. Oh my God. I'm not even
I'm sorry,
listening.
Jen.
No, I thought you said never
Ah.
mind. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's fine.
So DNS management. So we need to do my Medicare course. Find the URL through here, but this is where you change the record. So you're saying point it. You're pointing it with an A record. It's pointing at that IP address. Now there's 2 of them here because if one fails, the other one catches it. Right. These are for my white labels. And if you want to see what we're doing with hers, I mean, we're getting there. I'm still working out and kicking out some of the bugs here, but we're
Awesome.
building a very simplistic course where they can click the button to text her anytime. And that click to text will automatically aggregate their name and email after they send the message, hey, I saw your course, I need more information. Right. So after they go through part A, B, C, D, and then Medigap, at the end, let's go to Medigap here. I'll show you. I'm working on just something fun, right? It's about 2.5 minutes to get there, but boom, congratulations, you completed it, right? Let's chat. So the whole goal is to get them into that phone number. Come on, click the phone number, click it. But if they're watching the video and scrolling on the page, they're going to keep seeing that big fat blue phone number in front of them with that call to action. Now she's saying in the video, click the phone number, and then they scroll down and it says, click the number, right? So we're telling them multiple times to click the phone number. That call to action has to be constant.
And that's all still pointing to Jennifer's main domain, or no, this is totally separate?
This is her white label, okay? This is the multi-site editor.
Mhm.
And so we pointed it right here with the multi-screen site. That's the URL that we pointed it to where we host her white label. So then we added that as a CNAME. That CNAME is where we're hosting, on what server, where we're hosting that white label, right? Then it's telling us what IP address to put our URL on, are these, right? So we then attach or point with an A record. Now CNAME right here, I would do another CNAME. Watch this. If I do a CNAME, this one I can just do host at, right? Points to, and then do whatever I want, right? And so from there, you're telling it where to go. Same with the A record. If I come in here, I just change the IP address to something else, whatever your host is giving you, whatever your website is. So for you, I'm guessing it's go high level. So they should have the instructions of that information of where to point it for your URL. And you just come in here, copy paste it if you're on GoDaddy.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about that. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. If you need to start back up, just let me know and we'll get that taken care of.
Yeah. No, we'll start December 1st. I'm still
All
waiting
right.
on, but
That sounds good. It's only 10
thank you
days,
for
dude.
all your-
That's coming quick.
I know. I'm so excited, and thank you for all this information. This was
You're
wonderful.
welcome. Hey, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at noon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, take it easy.
Like